Welcome to Giant Ability TV.
There is a motto which has been borne by many of my ancestors, a noble motto: I serve. Those words were an inspiration to many bygone heirs to the throne when they made their knightly dedication as they came to manhood. I cannot quite do as they did, but through the inventions of science, I can do what was not possible for any of them. I can make my solemn act of dedication with a whole empire listening. I should like to make that dedication now. It is very simple. I declare before you all that my whole life, whether it be long or short, shall be devoted to your service and to the service of our great imperial family to which we all belong.
Birthday represents the beginning of the journey to the fulfillment of destiny, while death marks the end and the fulfillment of destiny. Queen Elizabeth II, the supreme head of the Church of London and the head of the State of London, Great Britain, Netherlands, and the 54 Commonwealth nations, was born on Wednesday, April 21, 1926, and died on Thursday, September 8, 2022, at the age of 96, making her the longest-serving monarch in the history of the United Kingdom. Looking through the windows of time into her lifespan, as can be seen from her day of birth to the day she passed on to glory, one is, without gainsaying the fact, convinced beyond the iota of doubt that she was born well and died well. And to this end, blessed is the day of her birth, and blessed is the day of her death. As the longest-serving monarch in the history of the United Kingdom, Queen Elizabeth II did not just live long, but she also served well to the admiration of the people within her immediate constituency as well as globally. So many factors came together and shaped the personality of Queen Elizabeth II, some of which include her being born to go through the Great Recession in Britain, as well as the Second World War, where she saw her late father, King George VI, command the British Army in the war against Germany and Japan. As a young princess who had longed to experience a normal life outside the Buckingham Palace, the first opportunity came when she and her sister, under the supervision of an envoy, were allowed to mingle for just a few minutes with the jubilating crowd, who were in hundreds of thousands in front of the Buckingham Palace after the war came to an end in 1945. A bigger opportunity came also for her to live what fits in for the description as a normal life after she got married to Prince Philip, who was a young and handsome serving Navy officer in the Royal Navy. She was allowed to join her husband at Malta, where Prince Philip was serving at the naval base. She joined him and lived just as the wife of an officer and was able to live the normal life by going to the salon, going to the stores, and making friends at will. As she wished that this life of freedom continued,
the heart of the nation stops. The flags lower in tribute. Over the Mother of Parliaments, high over Big Ben, the flag is low as the news spreads. The king is dead.
Her hope was despaired when her dad, King George VI, died suddenly at age 56. The death of her father, to whom she was very dear and close, also marked a turning point in her life. Now as a young queen, she had no one to turn to for advice other than her husband, whom she described after his death as a source of her confidence and strength. One important factor that distinguished Queen Elizabeth was her sense of duty. As much as she was a humorous personality, she was also serious-minded. She was the true reflection of not just a leader, but a leader by example as well as a leader in hope. She, being the longest-serving monarch who reigned for 70 years, went through so many upheavals with her people. Nonetheless, she had always remained consistent, inspiring, and unwavering in her commitment to duty as well as long life serving to our people. With Queen Elizabeth II, the issue of gender disparity and discrimination went dead on her arrival and ascendance to the throne. Queen Elizabeth II was the most identified personality on the planet Earth, and she lived all her entire life in the service of humanity. a selfless and courageous leader indeed. Historically, she went through turbulent times, especially those that directly affected the monarch, such as the incessant divorce of her male children.
1992 is not a year on which I shall look back with undiluted pleasure.
The most challenging as related to the death of Princess Diana. Initially, the Queen did not perceive the mood of her people correctly, especially when she delayed actions in regard to empathy and compassion over the death of Princess Diana. At last, she was able to get it right and rose to the demand of the moment. Recall that her first Prime Minister was the late Winston Churchill. She had to work with him and his well-organized and articulate cabinet. Therefore, she needed all the strength and wisdom at that time. Being very young and influenced by the negative experience of her uncle Edward, who abdicated the throne before her father became king, and with all the attendant negative effects it had on the monarch. Her resilient personality coupled with her good upbringing as well as the experience gathered from her late father got her started on a very good note and contributed to all her achievements and exploits as the longest serving monarch. It was observed that she was married fully to the throne and was also committed fully to the affairs of the Commonwealth of Nations, which was made up partly of most of the nations that belonged to the defunct British Empire, as well as other nations of countries who voluntarily joined. The Commonwealth of Nations is the coming together of 54 nations under a government. The organization had the Queen as leader, with a chairman as well as an administrative secretary respectively. She was always consistent in attendance at most of the meetings that involved heads of state of the member nation of Commonwealth, which in hierarchy are like prime ministers to the Queen. She was always creating time to listen to their complaints, personally and one-on-one. With this enormous task of being the head of the Church of London, head of state of United Kingdom, Great Britain and Netherlands, as well as the Commonwealth of Nations, Queen Elizabeth fits in for the description as a leader of leaders, as well as the best diplomat that Britain has ever had. In my honest opinion, the likes of Queen Elizabeth II will not be found again sooner. Though an aristocrat, she was spiritual and God-fearing. She also epitomized beauty, splendor, and elegance. She was gorgeous both within and outside, and was the embodiment of authority and royalty. One thing that the world will miss the Queen Elizabeth II for was her great sense of commitment to the duty in her immediate domain, as well as her unforgettable role towards achieving unity in the world through the efforts of the United Nations, as well as her own personal contributions towards achieving a United Nations. Notably, one area that the office of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II might have influenced the African leaders negatively instead of positively is in the constitution of the monarch, where the leader, being a queen or a king, is expected to provide his lifelong service to his people. Other leaders, especially those in democracy, consciously or unconsciously covet this arrangement that provides a lifelong opportunity for leaders in monarchy. Hence, the experience some of the African countries have had with leaders who choose to remain in power by hook or crook for life. Where attempts to remain in power for life failed, it has led to constitutional crisis and in some cases, coup d'etat, which is the coming of the military junta into power. Even though the objectives of the Commonwealth of Nations include international cooperations through the advancement of economic and social life, as well as the human rights in the member nations of the Commonwealth, little had these objectives translated into positive ends for the African countries who are struggling for survival and are overwhelmed with the problems of insecurity, terrorism, and banditry. This aspect is of great concern, especially in relation to all the achievements that the Queen has made in her country and its allies. The mantra of the iconic Queen Elizabeth II paraphrased is, "You must be seen serving as a leader before you can be believed by your subjects." On a final note, as we all mourn the glorious passage of this iconic legend and enigmatic leader of our generation, the question that agitates our mind is, will King Charles III move the member nations of the Commonwealth further from where Queen Elizabeth II left them, with positive economic, social, and political benefits accruing to member states of the Commonwealth of Nations? It is our hope and prayer that the new King Charles III shall live long and with the Commonwealth of Nations of the world distributed with equity and justice to all. God bless Queen Elizabeth II and long live King Charles III. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to all our social media platforms: YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook.